Welcome back, everybody. So today is day 2 or 3 of our ice fishing season. We did really well last time, and in the past couple days we've gained so much ice it's ridiculous. We were at, I think, on like 4 to 5 before. We're probably already on 6 to 7. So ice is building really fast, and we have some really cold conditions. But not wasting too much time, because there are already fish down there, and there was a decent one. But well, I'll go ahead and roll a little bit of footage of how I set up my shanty. And I think a lot of people think that setting up for ice fishing is time consuming and complicated. It really isn't. I think the whole period of time to get everything set up, and even my tip ups, I think was all like 5 minutes. So it's really not that bad. Not nearly as time intensive as most people think, or a lot of people think. But we're gonna go out and see if we can't catch a few fish. Hopefully it's as good as the last time that we were out, but we'll see. And we're all set up. Let's catch some fish. There's one sluggishly coming in. They're way less aggressive than they were the last time we were out, but that could have something to do with the insanely cold weather that we're having. You come eat? There's a bigger one and a smaller one. They're back to back. Yeah, that smaller one. It's usually how it goes. Little gill started off. The other one was much bigger. Looked longer though, almost like a perch. Little guy. Ooh. Small, but he's not too bad. Probably just a little shy to try and fry up. I guess if you're keeping, you probably could keep that one. It'd be one of those ones once you got home and you're just like, yeah, what was I thinking? But we got some flags out. Hoping to catch another decent sized pike. Or a bass. We haven't caught a bass yet this year. But last trip we were out was absolutely phenomenal, so I don't know that we can get a ton more greedy than that. Got him. Tiny. Good gracious. If we didn't have minnows for a tip up, he'd be going on there, because pike would love him. Oh, that was a better one. He just had the waxy in his mouth. We might end up running out of waxworms today, and then we'll be able to show a little bit of fishing with plastics. He had like nipped onto it, and I gave him an extra second to pull and suck it down a little bit further, but still did not have it. Again, we're not fishing anything like wild today. We're just fishing, again, oh, there comes one instantly. We're just fishing the brush piles. Oof. Not trying to make it too complicated. These brush piles hold fish for a majority of the winter, for sure. So, I mean, it's always a good place to try, especially if you're struggling. But usually throughout the year, the bigger fish will end up moving to deeper pockets or something. So don't like to fish one place only, but when the fish are here, it's an easy place to get out to. Little one, tiny. Wow. And if that isn't a testament to how decent this rod is for sensitivity, I mean, I'm not sure. We can't even lip him. I'm not sure you can catch fish much smaller than 2.5 inches, 3 inches. But hopefully the big ones start to roll in at some point in time. Otherwise, we might end up putting on a Z-VIBER or something like that, see if we can't call something in. If they don't come in just by themselves. We don't have a ton of time, so moving around and trying to find them probably won't be on our agenda today. There's one instantly. That was a little bit better. Not much. That one was a little bit better. Come back for it. Nope. It's always interesting how much smarter bigger fish are. The number of times I see them on live scope and you cannot get them to move, or they'll come inspect your bait for the longest time and then just decide that they don't want it. It's crazy. But I guess that's how they get big. Well, that's not a bad fish, or he's just streaking in. He's a little bit better. He's got a little bit better, not much. Took our waxy. All right, well, I think we could, if we had enough waxworms, we could probably put on 100 fish today, but we might have to upsize or something else to try and catch something a little bit bigger, call something bigger in. There's another one. Little guy. How many bluegill are here? This is crazy. You'd hope there'd be a predator fish somewhere chasing them down. There's one. That one's a little, that one's better. Not a big one, but another one just about keeper size. We'll probably be doing a catch and cook in the next couple days, or maybe a week or something like that, especially with as many panfish that we're catching. One thing I have noticed through the years is occasionally when you have a number of small fish like this, you can raise that bait up a little bit higher, and the smaller ones don't seem to chase quite as often. Like right now, we have two that are a little bit better, that are willing to come, oh, get them, that are willing to come a little bit higher than those 2 or 3 inchers. So if you have a pack and you're trying to get the biggest one out of there, changing depth can kind of deter some of those smaller ones a little bit. There's one. Little guy. Alright. There's a better one. So I'll say we keep catching these 4 inches. We're not gonna put 162 of them on in a video. I mean, we have to be close to double digits already, which is ridiculous. I don't even know if we've been fishing for more than 10 minutes. Yeah. We're gonna have to do something. Change something up to get some bigger fish. There's one. That one's better. Not real big, but a little bit better. So many. Yeah, it's actually kind of small. 5. Just looked bigger than the rest. Is that a better fish? Is he stuck in something? That's a better one. Oh, that's a good gill. There we go. That's what we're fishing for. one you can lip. There we are. How big is... I did actually bring a measuring tape out today. We are looking at 8 1/4. Not a bad gill. Well, there we go. Maybe they're starting to come in a little bit. There are 2 that were about that size down there. That's not a bad gill. It'd probably be a keeper. Probably, be a tweener again. 6 3/4. Maybe 7. Well, they're starting to come in a little bit better. Oh, felt bigger. He doesn't. He's not. Oh, maybe. Yeah, he is. That's a good gill. Initially, it just kind of came right up with it. There's a good gill. That's probably just an 8. Again. Let her go. There's a little guy. Oh. Yep. Yep. We have not had a flag yet, unfortunately. Another little one. And the bigger ones have not been really coming through anymore. So this might be a bit of a grind, but at least we're catching fish. Oh, that was a good one. Man, it's been rough getting any sort of decent fish in, so I put on the mini Z-VIBER. Had one come in pretty darn quick, and he hit it. He felt heavy. I don't know if it was a crappie, but we missed him. Here's one. There's a group of bigger ones in there. And that's why we put on the Z-VIBER. That would be another solid keeper. There's a bigger one down there that we didn't get. He's just about off screen. Another 7 1/2. All right. And again, yeah, we're just throwing that micro Z-VIBER, tipped with waxy. I don't mind actually using spikes a lot when I use the Z-VIBER, just because they're a little bit tougher. So when you're ripping that bait a lot, you can rip your waxies off kind of easily. So I do like using the spikes, and they don't mess with the vibration of the Z-VIBER quite as much. There's one. It's a little, oh, he looked better. Holy cow. He looked better and he was aggressive. I thought for sure that was going to be at least a 7 or 8. He got stuck well too. There we go. Little guy. There's one. That wasn't even the big one, but he doesn't feel too bad. Oh, that's a good one. Oh, wow. Caught the Z-VIBER to the hand. He flopped off right when we were trying to lift him out. Obviously, that's a lot of pressure on a tiny wire hook, but open up. There you go. That's a good gill. How big are you? Definitely over 8. Just a smidge over 8.5. I don't know, that might be the biggest gill that we've had all year so far. I mean, 2 trips, but not a bad one. On the Z-VIBER, that is just one of the things that I just very consistently do. Is if you're ending up with some small fish or anything else like that and just can't get anything bigger, just upsizing baits just a little bit, something with a little bit of vibration, a little bit of noise. Not to say that it's always going to work, but it seems to work enough to always try it before ending up moving to a new spot. Of course, the next decent gill we get, we don't have a camera on, but again, on the Z-VIBER, these big gills, you're loving it. If you've never tried a Z-VIBER, I most certainly would. There's a lot of really good micro rattle baits for sure, but I do like the Z-VIBER. Kender's, I think, got a good one. I think there's some other ones. There's some other ones that I haven't used that I'm actually excited about trying out this year, but there's one. That's, oof. Took a long time for him to come. Oof, duh. They are a little guy. Definitely not coming in nearly as frequently. I think they're sticking much, much closer to the brush, which the brush isn't that far away. It's only like 2.5 feet, 3 feet that way, but get that one. There we go. Another one on the Z-VIBER. There we go. Took a little while to get them, but they're still here. Yeah, that's a little one. They're getting smaller and more finicky, which is the worst. Get that one. That one's not terrible. Not a big one. Okay. Well, there's a few more that are coming in. That one. Okay. I don't know how many fish we've caught today. We have to be well into the 20s. Maybe even more than that. There's another one. Not the same size. Another. Oh, stole my waxy. There's one. How big? Oh, that's not a bad one. See, that one didn't look very big on screen. But it clearly was. There's another good one down there. I'll let go. There we go. Nice little 7 3/4. We would definitely have a pretty solid fish fry if we were keeping all these fish. So I think we've probably caught 5 around 7.5 or bigger. Definitely only on one person, but the Z-VIBER has definitely done our heavy lifting for today. We haven't had a single flag. I think we might have caught one decent gill this morning on a tungsten.
And it was just small stuff after that. It has definitely been able to call in some of those bigger fish, and kind of kept those smaller ones at bay a little bit more. We did catch a couple small ones on the Z-VIBER, but for the most part, it's just kind of been able to target those bigger ones just a little bit better. See if we can't catch one or two more before we end up packing up. Get that one. That one doesn't feel too bad. Not as big as I thought or had hoped. Little one. There are some much bigger ones down there, but they are finicky. And I did put down a tungsten. I put down a lead that was like, I don't even know if it was a 64th ounce, and they wouldn't touch that either. Only the somewhat slightly aggressive ones are hitting this Z-VIBER. Oh, we still have a bit of waxy on there. There's one. That's not. Oh, how did we lose them? What in the world? That was strange. It just came undone. There's one. Oh, is that too bad? Yeah, not a big one. They look bigger on screen right now, for some reason. That one's probably just a little bit too small to take home, if we were. There's one. That's not a bad gill. That'll probably be the one we end on. That's probably the one we'll end on. Take a quick little picture of him and let him go. Well, that is it for today. In all honesty, today was not a bad day. It wasn't quite as good as the first day we had gone out, but not terrible. We ended up catching a lot of numbers. I don't know how many we caught. It had to have been in 30, maybe 40. I definitely didn't show all of them because a lot of them were really, really small. But a lot of small ones. So what we ended up doing early this morning is switching on over to a little bit bigger size bait because there were packs of them. And it just seemed like the smaller ones were a bit more aggressive. So we upsized baits to that Z-VIBER, and especially with live scope, it allows you to kind of pick out those bigger fish, and that little bigger bait will deter some of those smaller ones, giving an opportunity for those bigger ones to go ahead and eat it. So that worked out great for us. It definitely did all of our heavy lifting today. That being said, we didn't end up anything on a tip up, so kind of odd, but we will end up definitely going to someplace new next time. We won't stay here because I much prefer catching bass and pike. But it was not a bad day by any means. There's still some gills down there. See if we can't catch one quick. But if you guys haven't used rattle baits, and I would most certainly recommend them. I like the there's one right there. I like the EUROTACKLE one. Kender's got a good one. There's some other ones. I know Rapala's got some ones that they have come out with, so I would most certainly recommend them because they're definitely not too big for bluegill, especially small ones, as you can tell, but it will typically deter them just a little bit and get those bigger ones to be able to bite. But this is one of my favorites, tipped with either a wax worm or a spike or something like that. But if you haven't tried one, I would most certainly recommend it. Definitely did all of our heavy lifting, caught our bigger fish today, helped call some of those fish in too, so it was great. But definitely a tactic I use quite often. But if you guys like the video, if you wouldn't mind liking, and as always, if you want to see more videos like it, if you wouldn't mind subscribing, that'd be greatly appreciated also. Till the next one.